What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And it seems that Carlos Tavares was not the only one in Detroit, in the United States, and, no-showed at the Sterling Heights assembly plant. It also seems that the chairman of Stellantis was in the United States. Let's talk about it. What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And it seems that not only was Carlos Tavares in Detroit, but so was John Elkann, who is the chairman of Stellantis. He's also on the board of directors for Exor. And I believe he's involved with Ferrari, too. A lot of different companies. Now, why I find this interesting is, your CEO is coming over here in your off time to fix manufacturing issues, which, by the way, Carlos Tavares, instead of talking about the actual issues or why there are problems in manufacturing, you've cut the product, you've cut the quality of the materials that you use to build the product so much that the product is now shit, and you're now trying to sell the product for more money with cheaper materials. That doesn't add up. That does not work. It never works. And now you blame the workers, right? Because that's the default. It's always the workers, right? And it doesn't matter whether they're union or not union. It's all the workers' fault. So now you're in the United States on these 3 days because it's your off time, and you want to have your finger on the pulse. You want to be a hands-on CEO and get this situation resolved, right? Cool story. But what I found interesting is, so is the chairman of Stellantis. During that same time, Build Your Dreams, or BYD, a Chinese electric car company, is also in town. All in Auburn Hills. What a coincidence. Right after that happens, we see Frank B. Rhodes Jr. drop his post about buying Chrysler. At the same time, we see Chrysler and BYD at the same time, the exact same time, like within 20 minutes of each other, issue categorical denials that BYD is interested in purchasing Chrysler. Now, is it all connected? I don't know. I don't think Frank B. Rhodes Jr. is a puppet for Stellantis. I feel like he really wants to buy Chrysler and make Chrysler a great American company. Again, I feel like that's a real thing. I don't feel like he's a puppet for Carlos Tavares. The story for me is Elkann coming here. The story for me is John Elkann coming here to see what Carlos Tavares is doing to fix the situation. Now, it might seem insignificant to you, or most of you guys that watch the videos, I get it. But people that are from the automotive space, we know that that's not insignificant. Could Carlos Tavares finally be reaching the end of his rope? Because that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this like Carlos Tavares might finally be having some comeuppance. He might finally have to answer for some of the bullshit that he's done consistently. Cheap materials, doing everything he can do to inflate that stock price, namely constantly cutting jobs, cutting costs, cutting this, cutting that, to where The product now sucks. And when the product sucks, nobody wants it. And when nobody wants it, you get no sales. So I find it, that's what I take from John Elkann coming to the United States. I feel like the chairman, if the chairman of the board for Stellantis is showing up at the same time you're in town, I think he's checking up. I think he is checking up on Carlos Tavares and seeing if he's actually doing his friggin' job. Is he actually finding solutions to the problems? I don't know. I find it interesting, and I find it very crazy that they reported this literally like 8 hours before he left town. He came in here like under the cover of darkness, like it was a secret mission or something. Maybe it was. Maybe he didn't even tell Carlos Tavares he was going to show up. I don't know. But what does that mean to you? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. I find it extremely interesting that the chairman of the board shows up when you're here on your off time to try to figure out issues, and then the chairman just shows up. Maybe Carlos Tavares is finally in trouble. Whoopee!